What if I told you the most powerful weapon in the world is not a nuclear bomb, not an army, not a missile, not even oil? It is something invisible, something printed on contracts, hidden inside interest rates, disguised as opportunity, sold as help, and accepted by almost every country, company, family, and student on Earth. That weapon is debt. Debt can build hospitals. Debt can create roads. Debt can save a nation during war. But debt can also do something far darker. It can control governments, force countries to sell their resources, push families into lifelong pressure, transfer wealth from the weak to the powerful, and turn freedom into a monthly payment. This is the story of how debt became the world's most powerful weapon. Debt begins with a promise. Take the money now, pay later. It sounds simple. A farmer borrows money to buy seeds. A student borrows money to study. A government borrows money to build roads. A business borrows money to expand. At first, debt looks like progress. It gives people access to something they do not yet have. It creates growth before the money exists. But hidden inside every debt is a chain. That chain is called interest. Interest is the price of time. And when time becomes expensive, freedom becomes smaller. Because the borrower does not only pay back what they received, they must pay back more. And the longer they fail, the heavier the chain becomes. This is where debt stops being a tool and starts becoming a weapon. For thousands of years, rulers needed money for one thing more than anything else: war. Armies needed weapons. Soldiers needed food. Empires needed ships. But wars were expensive, so kings borrowed from wealthy merchants and bankers, and this changed history, because the people who financed wars often became more powerful than the people who fought them. A king could command an army, but a banker could decide whether that army could be paid. Power moved from the battlefield to the balance sheet. The sword still mattered, but the loan decided how long the sword could be held. This is why debt became so dangerous. It did not need to conquer a kingdom overnight. It only needed to make the kingdom dependent. When a country borrows money, it usually believes it is buying time. Time to develop. Time to survive a crisis. Time to modernize. But national debt is different from personal debt. Because when a country owes too much, the lender does not simply take a house. The lender can influence policy. The lender can demand reforms. The lender can pressure the country to cut public spending, sell state companies, open markets, raise taxes, reduce subsidies, privatize water, electricity, transport, and natural resources. Suddenly, the debt is no longer just financial. It becomes political. A country may still have a flag, a president, a parliament. But if every major decision must satisfy creditors, then who really controls the country? This is the hidden power of debt. Old empires used soldiers, ships, and flags. Modern empires use contracts, loans, and repayment schedules. In the colonial age, powerful nations captured territory. They extracted gold, cotton, sugar, minerals, and labor. Today, the method can be quieter. A poor country needs infrastructure. A rich lender offers money. A highway is built. A port is expanded. A dam is constructed. But then the debt becomes too large. The interest becomes too heavy. The repayment becomes impossible. And then comes the real price: control over resources, control over ports, control over strategic assets, control over policy, control over the future. This is not always done with guns. It is done with signatures. A country signs a loan agreement and children pay for decisions they never made. But debt does not only control countries, it controls companies too. Corporations use debt to grow faster and dominate markets. Debt can be used to buy a company, load that company with more debt, cut workers, and sell assets. When things go wrong, ordinary workers often pay the price. Jobs disappear, pensions shrink, prices rise. This is how debt becomes a machine that extracts wealth upward, from labor to capital, from workers to shareholders. Then comes the most intimate form of debt: personal debt. credit cards, student loans, mortgages, car loans. Everywhere the message is the same. You deserve it now. Pay later. Don't wait. Upgrade your life. Debt does not always put people in physical chains. Sometimes it does something more effective. It controls choices. A person in deep debt cannot easily quit, cannot easily protest, cannot easily move. Debt creates obedience without violence. The modern economy does not only tolerate debt, it depends on it. Growth often depends on spending money we do not yet have. When too much debt builds up, the world becomes fragile. One interest rate change can shake markets. One default can trigger panic. And when the system is in danger, who is rescued first? Usually not the ordinary people. Debt is the perfect weapon because it does not look like a weapon. It arrives as help. It speaks the language of development. The old empires ruled through armies. The new empires rule through balance sheets. The old chains were made of iron. The most dangerous prison is the one that convinces you it is freedom. Debt is about who owns your future. Like subscribe and share the shadow empires to see what others don't.